from here then you can save it and attach it to an email if need be. The beauty of PDF is the person receives it, sees it exactly as you want them to. They can't edit it, they can't amend it. They can just sort of open it up and do it. Now, like all the other reports, you've got trade breakup without rates reports that you can send it so they can fill in rates. But any of the reports can be dumped out to a PDF. For users with the global system, okay, you've got the full choice of the print drop-down menu, but it might be a case that you actually want to send out your BOQ report to a PDF. Now, that doesn't have a built-in PDF part to it because it's different technology. So what you require is this thing called a PDF writer. Okay, a PDF writer is like a PDF printer, whereas you can export directly to it. It's like printing a document, but you're printing to a file. If you have Adobe Acrobat, not just Adobe Reader, Adobe Acrobat, you will have it. Some programs like Sage will have a PDF writer. But if you don't, what you can do is you can install a program called PDF 995, which is a free download from the web, and I have it installed. So what that does is if I go into my list of printers, so I'll click Start and go into Printers, what I'll have as part of my printer setup is I will have this option which is called PDF 995. So if you were to Google, so if you opened up Google and just typed in PDF 995, it would find a website for it, top of the list, because a lot of people would use it. And there's a couple of other free ones like QPDF as well, but the PDF 995 I do. When you install it, it installs an additional printer on your list. Your normal LaserJet or PhotoJet printer or whatever you have, this will put in a second one for you. And you can use this for every program on your PC, not just Buildsoft. How you use it is if I just close my list of printers because I don't need to use it. When it comes to printing, so if you, let's say if we go to preview the bill or you go to print it, so we have our preview and all your bill is exactly has the layout that you want. From there then you can hit your printer button, okay, and that will call up your printer as it does normally, and you normally just hit a, choose the pages that you want and the copies that you want, which is still the same. But instead of selecting your PDF file or your HB or your normal printer from here, if you hit the drop-down menu on your list, PDF 995 will appear. As you can see, I've got a couple of other ones because I have Sage and stuff loaded. But we choose PDF 995. You know, hit OK as normal with that printer selected. And what that do is that will actually, first off, it'll ask me where I would like to save the file and what I would like to call it. So you choose your location. So I'll stick it in the PDF folder here. And I'll just call it sample BOQ PDF. And I'll choose save. So that will create the file for me. Now, because I'm using the free version of PDF, they do a little bit of advertising on it. So we just hit continue using sponsored. So we don't have to, you know, we don't want to have to go out and buy the other one. And what that does is that will export that report direct out exactly as you would if you printed it, but it's now in a PDF format for ourselves in Adobe. So you can save that wherever you'd like to. You can attach it to an email if you have your email set up with Outlook and stuff like that. You can do whatever you want. It has also created the PDF file in the location where we asked it to save. So in my webinars in the PDF folder where I created it, it's created the file there for me so I can use it at a later date if need be or refer back to it. So at any stage then obviously you can close that thing. So to do the BOQ report you need to have a PDF writer installed. Now it's quite easily, as I say, it's a free download if you don't have one already, but you just choose your printer as normal. And then you can just send that to the person, whoever has, and every PC comes preloaded with an Adobe Reader on it. Microsoft have a deal with them. So, you know, 99.9 times anyone will be able to open the file for you. Okay, so that's your Excel and PDF export. The next format that sometimes you might need to export out to is a thing called CITE. Okay, CITE. It stands for Construction Industry Tendering Electronically. And it was designed by a coalition of people just to be able, so people with different systems, you know, specialist systems like Buildsoft and any other application can transfer from one to another. And it's probably the easiest method to export and import into Buildsoft because it's custom made for systems like such as ourselves. So to export a file, you simply come onto your job manager screen, okay? Highlight the job you want, and if you want to make any changes, obviously you can go in and do it as normal. But you highlight the job on your job manager. You then select the Tools drop-down menu at the very top. Okay, and what you've got on this list is you've got site files. Okay, so you've got site files and you've got import and export. So the same for the import, you do the same, but we want to export this bill. So we choose export and we've got export to site job or quote. So we click on that with our left mouse button. It'll give you a couple of questions. Would you like to recalculate the job's BOQ references first? You know, when in doubt, say yes. I've already done it, so I'll just say no. Now this one's important. Blank quantities detected. And it's saying there are items in this job with missing quantities. Do you wish to replace items of these with a 1? When it comes to site format, you can't have a blank quantity. If it's blank, it needs to have a quantity of 1 in it. Okay? Even if you've got a total amount of money type, it still has to have a 1 typed in it. Okay? So if you choose no on this, the system will just stop. The procedure won't go any further. So you have to choose yes to it. It doesn't affect your job in Buildsoft. It only updates the site file. So if you hit yes on that, the next thing is it'll say, okay, well, you know, where do you want to save this file and what would you like to call it? So again, you can choose wherever you'd like to. So I'll just browse on to my C drive. I'll put it in the webinars folder that I have been using. And I have a site files export folder here. So I'll choose in there. I have no files in it at the moment. So then what we do is we just choose what do you want to call it. Okay. So let's say we just call it example, because that's the name of our job. And then all you got to do is hit save. Okay. And once it's finished, as you can see, it's quite quick. The job has been exported in a site format. And we just choose OK. Now, just before I open up and I show you what the end result would look like, just to explain how site works. Site is a text format, okay? And how it exports is, you've got different levels in Buildsoft. You've got the summary level and you have the trade breakup level. It ignores the buildup of calcs and the buildup of rates. No one ever sees them in a site format. But what I will do is if I open up my job, is I will get a file for my summary page, which is our summary page here. And then I will get a file for each individual trade. So in our case, we have 22 trades. So I should be getting 23 files plus a text file that just accompanies with it. So when you go browsing to where it is, which I'll do now, so I'll just flick down to my folders down here at the bottom left. I'll go back into my webinars folder. Okay, and I'll open up the folder that we've just created. So site files export. So as you can see, so this is what it will look like when you export it out. You get a file for each individual trade that's in there, and then you get your summary page and then a text file that comes with it. Very small sizes, so you can attach all of them to an email and send them on with no hassle. If you want to open them and see what it looks like in this format, you can use Notepad or something like that. So if you open that, it'll open it up in a Notepad file and you can see exactly what the file looks like. So all the detail of our Excel file or our site file is in there. And as you can see, it tells us what the name of the trade is, what the site file is. So there's a written text document that you can use. So that's only useful if, you know, you're sending it to somebody that has a system, you know, like they might have, you know, Causeway or something like that, and you need to import it in to it, or Cato if you're up the north, which is popular up there. Okay, so that's fine. That's how you export out to a site. There's not very much to that because it is a custom built for a construction sort of build production system. So that's your different methods of being able to export from Buildsoft to different formats, okay? The next stage is importing from that. Okay, so let's say you received an Excel file in and you want to import it into Buildsoft. Now that's slightly different, okay, because you've got to set it to a CSV file and then you've got to import and line up the columns. But we'll do a quick test here just to walk you through it. So I'll just close out of my job here now for the minute. Okay, and I'll go down into my folder list. So I'll just ditch out and close the other Excel files that we weren't using. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll go into my folders. Okay, close that, and I have it in my webinar files folder. So under Excel then, I've got a sample that I typed up earlier on. So if you open up your sample, you can have a look at your Excel file. Okay, so we've got a list of our thing. We've got our build references, our descriptions, our unit, our quantities, our units, our rates, markup column if there was any, and then you've got your total column. Now I've only got the one trade. I won't go into anything too much. The first step in the procedure is to do what's called create a CSV copy of this. Okay. Now it's very simple to do. What you do is you come up to your file drop down menu or your little window drop down menu at the top. So you click on the file and then choose save as. Okay. And from the save as, when you choose it, okay, you've got the little option. So you can choose what you would like to call the file. So let's say we say sample CSV file. We choose where we want to save it, and I'll leave it in my Excel files folder here. But the important part is, see, it's the save as type. On the save as type here, you've got it running along underneath the left-hand side, or about down the bottom. From there, what you need to do is you need to hit a drop-down menu, and you've got a list of different formats, and CSV, delimited comes in for you. Okay, so if you click on that, it chooses CSV, and you've got your CSV type. And then all you got to do is hit save. Okay, now a couple of messages will pop up when you do that. The first is the selected file type does not support workbooks that contain multiple sheets. What that means is that CSV doesn't hand worksheets down the bottom. You know the way we did different tabs at the bottom earlier on for different sheets? You have to save them as individual CSV files so they can be imported separately into your other program, such as Buildsoft. But we'll say OK to that. We only have the one. And then it doesn't have certain features. Just say yes to that. You can't go on further than that again. OK, so that's now in a CSV format. Doesn't change, doesn't make any difference. You can just close out of that then, back out, and you can go into your Buildsoft then. So to import that file in, you can open up an existing job, or you can create a new one, which I'll do now. So I'll just call this, let's say, Webinar Excel. Hit OK. So you create your file as normal. There's no difference. And then we open it up, that new file. And we open it up onto our job summary level and our list of trades. So the first thing to do is click on the line number where you'd like to import this particular item. In our case, I'll put it on line number 1 because I've no other text in there. You then come along and you select Tools at the very top. You got your drop-down menu for Tools and you've got your list of options on that. Second from the bottom, you have what's called Exchange, and on that you've got Import Estimate. Okay, so you choose Import Estimate, and it'll give you an option of 3. You've got Convert DOS System, which is going back from when we had our DOS system years ago, bringing it to Windows, which will soon be taken out. And then you've got your Convert Comma Separated Text file. So if you click on that, that'll prompt you to say where's the path of the file, and you just browse to wherever the file is. And as you can see, this has browsed me for where I actually last saved it.